In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about environmental effects. First of all, what I'm going to do is create a terrain, and then what I want to do is shape it a little bit. So I'm going to go over here, I select terrain in the hierarchy. I'm going to go over to the terrain toolbar. I'm going to choose the paint height, and let me set that to 50 or so. I'll just type in the number. And then what I'm going to do is paint a little bit, and what that's going to do is create terrain that will only go up to 50 units high. So I'm going to paint that a little bit. Let me see if I can rotate my scene around so I can do a little better job of that. And I paint away and I get little effects and stuff like that. Alright, good enough. Let me add a little texture to the top. So I'm going to go to the raised lower terrain, choose one of these, and I'm just going to click. Don't want to drag too much, because if I do, then I'll get a really high terrain. Alright, very good. Let me zoom in a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is go back to the paint height, and I'm going to lower that to 40. And now I'm going to paint. Let me get a circular brush. When I paint now, it'll actually lower the terrain. It makes a depression. That's the nice part about that. Alright, the reason I'm doing this is to show you how to create water. Right? So what I'm going to do is I've already imported the asset that has to do with the environment. I've already done that. By the way, I also imported the asset that has to do with characters. So let me go down to assets though, see what we've got. I'm going to double click environment, water, then I go to prefabs. And waters are prefabs, and I drag those into the scene. I'll drag it right there. And notice it has a little orange circle. And what we're going to do is we're going to make that a little bigger. Alright, so we're going to expand it a little bit. So we can expand it this way, so it fills out that area. We'll expand it this way a little bit. Let me expand it this way. And expanding it up really doesn't do anything. Alright, also let me move it over a little bit so it kind of fills there. Now it doesn't look like much right now, and the reason for that is because the height of the water needs to be a little higher. Let me make that 45. Alright. Now if I zoom in a little bit, I can see it kind of looks okay, but I still need to reposition it. So what I'm going to do here, maybe I'll try rotation, and I'll rotate it a little bit like that, and I'll stretch it out a little bit, some more. And you know, this isn't going to be perfect, but what I'm just trying to do is make sure my water looks halfway decent. Alright. Now another thing that will really help is to select terrain and paint on a texture. Let me add a texture to it so I can actually see what it looks like. And I'll add that. And that looks a little better. But that's how you add water to a terrain. Very nice feature. Alright, another thing we're going to do here is we're going to talk about skyboxes. Notice there's no sky in my scene. The way you add a skybox is go Window, Lighting, Settings, and we go Skybox Material, click on the little dot to choose Material. If you choose one of these textures, you get a really weird background. Let's just go Default Skybox. When we do that, then voila, we have a sky. Now, one thing you have to be aware of is when you do that, you need to make sure that the skybox is selected in your toolbar here, because if not, it disappears. There's also a fog that you can use if you go Window, Lighting, Settings. There's a fog down here that you can click or unclick, and you can use fog. Again, make sure in this toolbar, that fog is selected. I'm having a hard time with that. Really don't have fog here. Oh, there it is. I don't want fog. Okay, good enough. Alright, the last thing I'm going to talk about is character controllers. So if I go to characters, double click, first-person controller, prefabs, and I drop that prefab onto the scene. Then it puts that character controller there. Doesn't seem like much until I hit game view, and all of a sudden, if I hit play, I can move around. I can look at my lake, which has a weird color to it. I'm not sure why, but I can do all kinds of stuff. So there you go. That's how you add water. You can play around with fog, skyboxes. You need a sky, and also character controllers.